So, today I want to talk about the time I felt a lump on my breast. The times, plural, because there were a few times. And it's just so crazy to think about it now and just look back at the whole experience was so long and it really dragged on for no reason. Like, for no good reason, I'll say. So this is like a tough topic, like getting my facts straight about this whole mini chapter in my life is so hard to do because I tend to block it out. Like whenever things are really, really hard or not even really hard, just something that stresses me out, I just try and lock it away in the back deepest parts of my memory. So I literally had to look up these dates to confirm what I'm saying is actually accurate. So I don't remember exactly when I first felt the lump, but I remember feeling it like just sort of, when I shower, I am very aware of myself and my body. My mom did have breast cancer, I believe, in 2020. So, or yeah, 2020 or 2019, I'll double check that. But she did have breast cancer, and it's just something like me and my sisters have always been hyper vigilant about. So when we're showering, we do feel ourselves up, and I encourage young girls, old girls, anyone with boobs needs to be doing this exam. Just feel around, make sure things are okay. By the time my mom got diagnosed, she already had I believe under in her armpit area she had lumps or like a rash, something like that, and that was like her big red flag. That's when things started to go off in her head, like I need to get it checked out. So for me it was, I was just washing myself, bathing, showering like any other day, and I was feeling around and I felt this lump. I'm like, ding ding ding, all the alarms are going off in my head. I'm not automatically thinking the worst, to be honest. Like I'm just thinking, So I actually remember feeling this quite a few years ago, and there was this summer where I had stepped on a hot coal. I stepped on a hot coal at a barbecue. I think it was like July 4th in New York. And, we were just so lit. So I didn't realize how bad I had burnt my bottom foot until the next day. So the next day I'm like, oh, I gotta go to urgent care. So I go to urgent care, I get my foot checked out, and I asked the physician, I asked the PA, I felt a lump in my breast, can you refer me, for a mammogram? Silly me thinking I would get a mammogram referral. But she didn't give me that. She's like, I can actually get in trouble for referring you for a mammogram because you're so young, like whatever. And you probably just have lumpy breasts. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I do have lumpy breasts. I did not need any more convincing than that. I was happy with that answer. It didn't bother me. I'm like, whatever. That's something normal. Women have lumpy breasts. Cool. Moving on. Fast forward maybe like a year later, I just start to feel the lump like kind of getting bigger. So I'm like, you know what, this is maybe more important than just one opinion. Maybe I should get another one. So I asked my primary care provider. I tell her, oh, I felt this lump, whatever. She refers me for a sonogram. At the time, like I would feel the lump kind of move around, which I think is a good indicator. I believe if it doesn't move at all and it's kind of like stagnant, it causes for more concern. But I did feel mine like moving around, or like sometimes where I knew it was, which was right here, I would feel it like I'll feel around and not find it or not feel it at all. So that went on for a little bit. We finally got the sonogram. I went to get the sonogram that day. The tech didn't find anything at all. I'm like, that's crazy. This, of all the days that I go to get the sonogram, it's like not visible or whatever. I let it go. Time goes on, and I start to feel like a little bit of pain. So now I'm like, shit. I'm concerned now, for real. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of pain. I gotta get this checked out again. I go back to my doctor and I ask for another referral, and she's like, the doctor I have, the primary care provider I had, was under Medicaid, so she's like not the best doctor in the area, and she's got a shitload of patients, and whether or not she sees me, like, she still gets paid, so she doesn't care that much, or so I, like, that's just how I always, my relationship with her was like that. Like, she wasn't the best of the doctors, but she was free, she was covered under my plan. But something told me at this visit, when she was just kind of like, no, you don't need that, like, we already did it, nothing was there. I'm like, girl, I need you to feel this, like, come and give me an exam and then we'll take it from there. So I lay on her bed, she gives me the exam, she feels it, and she's like, okay, let's go and get you, like, this week, like, later this week, ASAP. Call them right away, we'll get you the referral. So that's what we did. A few days later, I got the sonogram done, and they found, like, a mass. So they find the mass, and they booked me straight away for a biopsy. Now, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, just kind of happy that I'm getting progress done. Like, I'm getting some progress done, and I'm just happy that I'm doing the right thing. Like, I'm being responsible, like a young adult, making the moves that I need to make to get this examined. So the biopsy comes, I believe it was, I wrote it down, February 25th, 2022. That's the day of my biopsy. I would say that day was the first day I started to feel like just kind of scared. So as I'm walking into the appointment, it was like 7:30 in the morning, something like that. I'm walking in and I start Googling, like, what are the stats? How many, like, what are the chances that the biopsy is actually resulting in cancer? Like, what are the chances? So I'm reading and it's saying, like, the chances are like 80% that it is in cancer, because it's just so hard. I guess in the United States it's so hard to actually get or I thought it was so hard, I thought it was so hard to get a biopsy, because all the hoops I had to jump through to get one. But in reality, it's not. Like, I want to double check my information. I don't want to say something that's wrong, but I know I Googled that morning, and other countries like Europe, and I believe in Europe, there's like the countries in Europe, shit, what am I saying? It's really harder for you to get a biopsy scheduled. So the chances of those biopsies resulting in cancer are higher, because more people are actually getting approved for them. So whatever, that kind of like comforted me a little bit, because it just made me feel like there's more of a chance that it's just a malignant mass, like nothing to worry about. So I hadn't really panicked up until that point, up until I was in the gown ready for the biopsy. And there's something about when people try to comfort you that really makes me lose it. I don't know why. But the doctor's like talking to me, and she's explaining the process. She's like, we're gonna administer some localized anesthesia straight into your left breast, and you shouldn't feel anything. So I'm like, okay. Something about her trying to comfort me really made me lose it. So I start crying, and she starts telling me exactly what I had read online. You know, just something about the chances are really, really high that this is just a malignant mass, like nothing for me to worry about, because of just the protocol with doctors. Like, in the United States. So she's like, you know, the statistics say like you should be fine with your age and all of this. Like you could really have just lumpy breasts. So she tells me she's gonna administer the anesthesia. She explains to me what's gonna happen. She shows me the gadget that they use. It's like a big ass tool, a huge needle, like this long, like super long. And she basically explains like how she's gonna shoot it 3 times to take like a little bit of the mass out, and then she's gonna do a 4th shot, which is gonna be putting in like a tiny little like sesame seed sized something. I don't even know how to explain it. Something that was so tiny, so in the future if I ever had another procedure, they would know that they've already checked me for cancer in that specific tumor. And then she goes on to tell me that I don't only have 1 tumor, I have 2. And that was like, because my doctor didn't really explain the results to me. She really didn't explain it. So I had one, which was right here, the one that I had always felt right here on the left breast. And then I had a second one, which was smaller, right under the nipple. This was the day of the biopsy. Here you can see both incisions. This was that same night of the biopsy. I went downtown to eat with one of my best friends. We treated ourselves to a fancy dinner just to lift my spirits. These were all taken that night. Like, you can't even tell looking at me how anxious I was for the results. After the steri strips fell off, I put bandages on. A few days later, I found out that I did not have breast cancer. It is so important to know the symptoms and examine yourself regularly. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe.